Making the CPA exam far more exciting than it was ever intended to be. Welcome back to the Another 71 podcast. As always, I'm your humble host, Jeff Elliott, a licensed CPA in the state of Kansas by the grace of God and to the chagrin of many. And today's question is about CPA work experience. Got this question on Reddit. See how to do that. Hey, good looking guy. Got a question. Does volunteering for tax prep at VITA centers count as work experience for the CPA exam? And if you didn't know, VITA stands for Voluntary Income Tax Assistance. It's an IRS program for basically educated people who can do tax related things, helping lower income and also like older people do their taxes, basically to have competent tax preparation service for those who can't afford it. And so the question is, does that count for CPA work experience? And my answer to this is going to be the same for any question relating to CPA work experience. And the answer, the only correct answer you will ever get on this topic is it depends. Check with your board of accountancy, because while the CPA exam is a uniform exam, unfortunately, the licensing requirements are at the state level, and it's not a uniform licensing system. Should it be? Yes. Will the states ever give up their individual control over that? Not likely. Just like the college MAC programs did not easily give up their grip on the 150-hour rule with all that free money flowing in. And so, yeah, it's just, unfortunately, it's one of the deals. Thankfully, we're moving more towards a uniform system for people sitting for the exam. It's the 2 pathway deal, 150 hours or 2 years of experience deal. So not all states have adopted that. It'll probably move that way with full adoption. We'll have some reluctant stragglers, some bitter clingers, as a president or two said about us people with our Bibles and our guns a few years ago. And anyway, so how to know whether or not fill in the blank work experience counts for so you passed the CPA exam and now you want to be licensed, or maybe you haven't taken the CPA exam, but you're thinking about licensing, and maybe it affects what state you're going to sit in, etc. So as a rule of thumb, always check with your state board of accountancy or your future state board of accountancy. And some of these board of accountancy websites look like they're still being run on GeoCities. If any of you remember GeoCities, but if you can find it, find the licensing section, and it'll probably like download some big PDF where you have to read the fine print as to the licensing and the work experience requirements for licensing. But the bigger question is, does your CPA work experience need to be signed off by someone who was a direct supervisor, or someone who can simply attest, like a licensed CPA who can simply attest to the work that you did? And I get emails sometimes like, hey, can I send you my stuff? and you can like sign off on my work experience. And I'm like, I want no part of that. Like, I understand the question, but no, like, because that's serious business. And if a CPA is going to sign off on your experience, then they are putting their name on the line. So I obviously always politely decline. Um, but the question is, does your state require the CPA signing off on your experience to be your direct supervisor, or simply maybe like someone in your company who knows about the work that you did can sign off? For those of you in industry, one of the problems that you're going to run into is someone who, well, chances are probably not great that your direct supervisor, if you're in industry, like you work for some big company, chances are not great that your direct supervisor is a licensed CPA, because a lot of people come from Big Four, let their license lapse because CPE is a big pain in the butt. It's expensive. It's boring. Uh, doesn't really add a lot of value. Should it? Yes. Does it? No. But we just pretend that it does. Because your CPE doesn't necessarily have to directly pertain to the work that you do. That's why. So if you're in industry, then chances are not great that your direct supervisor is going to be a licensed CPA. So then you have to find someone in your company who is a licensed CPA, like just for kicks and giggles, they decided to keep their license. And if your state will allow that person to sign off on your work experience because they have knowledge of the work that you did, great. If not, you might be in a bit of trouble getting licensed. And then I guess the question is, why do you want to be licensed? And if it's just because you passed the CPA exam and it's like you just want to take it to completion, I get it. That's what I did. Maybe you never intend to hold yourself out as a CPA. But I have a friend who has like every conceivable combination of letter after his name, maybe except CFA. But he never went ahead and got licensed, as far as I know. But if you do want to be licensed, then you might run into an uphill battle if your state requires a CPA to directly supervise you. The bottom line, check your state board of accountancy. And if you ever have a question about whether or not specific work requirements or specific work experience will count, or any type of CPA eligibility question or work experience question, always email the director of your state board of accountancy and get their response in writing. Like, don't call, because like 2 years from now, when you're like, hey, well, you actually told me such and such, like they speak to so many people, they're not going to remember that question and their answer. And so if you ever have to go to the board to like prove something, then you want it in writing. And just as a general rule of thumb in business, if it's not in writing, then it didn't happen. So hope that's helpful. So that goes for VITA or any other type of work experience. My guess as to whether or not VITA will count, I would say probably not. But you never know. Email your state board of accountancy director and directly ask them. So hope that's helpful. If you have a question for the podcast, you can email jeff@another71.com, or you can go to another71.com/Jeff. Until next time, be good, and I will talk to you soon.